Well, good morning. Happy Monday. So I always like to come a little bit early. Hang on. Hate when I forget to do that. I hate when I leave my speaker on. As usual, we'll be grabbing our foam roller. I'm going to grab my short one today. And I just wanted to broach that topic, and I want you to throw in some comments. Most of the people who do this workout with me are triathlon fans, or at least are aware of the triathlon community. So I have hesitated joining in on the conversation about Christian Bloomfeld's performance yesterday at Ironman Cozumel. Amazing performance. Supposedly a world record. At the end of this Mobility Monday, I'm going to tell you what I think. But I really want to know what you think about having a race of your life so far, because it was Christian's first attempt at the Ironman distance. He's our reigning gold medal winner. His training partner Gustav Eden is our reigning 70.3 world champion. And Christian just made it look easier even than Gustav yesterday. I wish we could have this two-way conversation, because I'm dying to have this conversation. So anyway, at the end of the workout, I'm going to tell you what I think, and more importantly, welcome to Mobility Monday. It's about 2 minutes before we get going. The whole purpose of this session every single Monday, and why I will continue to have this be a live stream, is so you can get to know me as a strength coach and as a human being, as a person. But also, I want you to know that I'm not just creating 10 episodes of Mobility Monday and just shoving them up on YouTube. I'm going to actually be here with you moment by moment, Monday by Monday, getting more health, gaining and not losing mobility just because I'm getting fitter. And that's one of the mistakes that I think people make, is they start taking on more and more training. They lift weights and everything just becomes smaller, smaller, and smaller, because that's the adaptation that actually comes from your body experiencing an uptick in performance, is it starts to protect itself. So Mobility Monday is all about just really reinforcing optimal movement. It makes sports in general way easier if you're moving well and you're optimizing joint function, muscle recruitment, rate of force production, all of the above. So here we are, we're about 1 minute out. We are going to start at the top of the body today. We're really going to focus again on thoracic spine mobility. Thoracic spine, your T-spine, is everything that your ribs attach to on your spine, on your back. And so the signal, the cleaner the spine is, the more aligned, the more freedom of movement, the more mobility it has, the cleaner the signal from the brain. So it's not just about muscle. This is about so many of the systems within the body. So we're going to start with the lats. If you rode your TT bike or any bike this weekend, or you did a little bit of swimming, or you just sat around and worked on the computer, I can promise you that your lats are going to have a need to have a little bit of tissue release using the foam roller. So let's get that foam roller right at that junction. So here's the armpit. It's just below the armpit. We're going to reach to the front with the fingertips to the ground, and then just gently open that up. So you can see I've got just a nice base of support, lower body. It's not moving right now, just the upper body is moving. It might feel a little bit like a shoulder stretch if you just stay here. I want you to roll so that the foam roller rolls directly under your shoulder blade. Go 2 more of those. And good. So the foam roller gets positioned directly under the shoulder blade. So let's hit the lat on the other side. Stabilize the lower body. I've got my lower leg nice and straight, upper leg kind of a kickstand in the back here. And just foam roll comfortably. Thumb is up. The more you do this, the less spicy it is. So I'm going to use the foam roller up and down and roll like most people do. But then if you've been with me for a while, you know we can also drag the skin across. And so we're just dragging and gliding skin across fascia, across muscle, across bone. Okay? Position that foam roller right below the armpit, below the shoulder blade, fingers to the front. And all we're going to do here is just open up this side. Don't go for all the motion the first time. Just nice and easy. Four more of these. 1, again, lower body not moving too much. 2, 3, and 4. Okay, let's take that right into some motion. So let's take the foam roller. You're in a full kneeling position. All we're doing here is straight up and back. So I'm just going to take a side view here. Hips to the back, hips to the front, hips to the back. 2, 3, 4, 5. Should feel a little bit of tension in the belly. 6, 7, 8, 9. You want straight arms here. And 10. Nice. So you start to recognize if you get some tension in here, if you did some cycling this weekend, if you sat at the desk, I'm sorry, sitting is the new smoking. It is horrible for you. But we all have to do it to get stuff done. So the next thing we're going to do is I want to foam roll directly onto the pubic bone. Again, if you've been with me a little bit, you know that we do this every now and then. So position yourself on the foam roller directly on the pubic bone. We're going to do one of those little skin drags. So you're just toggling your hips gently across. That is a joint. That is your pubic symphysis. And movement and hip decoupling, your pelvis is 2 pieces. Each hip should move interdependently of each other. So the mobility of this joint, this pubic symphysis, is really important. So yes, it's right down the middle of the body. It's a joint that expects very small movement, but we need to address that. Okay, so this time we're going to go onto the foam roller this way. Okay, so sit on the foam roller, kind of long ways. And we're going to do a little gliding right on this sacrum. So we're moving, we're dragging the skin across the sacrum ever so slightly. Okay? Now, let's get all the way. We're going to roll along the glute sideways. And if you've never done that, that's going to feel probably a little bit spicy. Let's go the other side. So we're going laterally, foam roll laterally, all the way from the sacrum, all the way to the lateral part of that femur, that big upper leg muscle, all the way to the hip bone. Let's see each side one more time. So we're starting with the foam roller long ways along the sacrum. We did a little bit of gliding through the sacrum, and then we're foam rolling laterally across the hip. Okay, good. All right, let's take that, and from there, set the foam roller down. We need a little bit of activation. Sometimes to get motion, you've got to create activation. So from right here, which is called our full kneeling position, we're going to drop into a little bit of a hip flexion. So you're going to drop your hips to the back, keep your chin back, chest up. We never want to drop that head. Strong head position. And from right here, take your feet, put them outside of your knees ever so slightly. We're going to work on anchoring. Anchoring is going to switch on all the inner thigh muscles, all of the adductor group, okay? So from right here, strong head position, hips flexed. We've got a little bit of space between the ribs and the hips, and we want to keep that space consistent. From right there, switch on your adductors. 5. So you got tension like you're trying to crack a walnut between your thighs. 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the anchor. Good. If you're going to continue to train with me, you're going to understand what anchoring is. We need strong adductors. Adductor group is typically tight with endurance athletes. It pulls us into an anterior tilt with the pelvis, and that is a bad thing if you want glute activation, okay? So widen your knees out just a little bit more. Keep your feet just outside your knees. Drop your hips to the back. Head's in a perfect position. This time we're going to load up the glutes just a little bit by adding the weight of the arms to the front. This is a kneeling founder position. Ready? Anchor in. Really switch on the inner thigh. Hold it for 3 breath cycles. In through your nose, out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Hold that contraction. And relax. Good. Okay, so from right there, we're going to combine the two things we've already done. We're going to now anchor the lower body by putting the foam roller between the knees. We're going to take the hand out front. Keeping this, I want you to anchor in on the foam roller, and I want you to go ahead and work through these open books. But I want constant tension on the foam roller between the knees. We are anchoring in on the inner thigh. Ready? We're going to go 10 of these. You can relax your head to the ground. 1, 2. Keep the anchor strong. 3, 4, 5, 6. Long through the thoracic spine. 7. Long through the shoulder. 8. This shouldn't be stressful on your shoulder because you are rolling through your rib cage. If you feel your shoulder, go ahead and put your hand on your rib cage and just do like that. Okay? Other side. 10 reps. Knees are up just in front of the hips. Squeezing strong on the foam roller. Relax your head. And just open up through that upper part of the body. 2, 3. You can shorten that wing if you want. 4. Popping and cracking. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, let's reinforce that with some head wraps. If you've got a weight nearby, let's just grab a little bit of a dumbbell for the head wraps today. So staying in that full kneeling position, you can use your foam roller if you want. If you use a little bit of load for your head wrap, you actually could get a little bit of muscle activation there and a little bit more staying power for this mobility. 3, because in order to keep the mobility and keep moving well, we need to build strength. This is just a nice, easy head wrap. You can throw a few of these down throughout your day. And by keeping on the full kneeling position, go the other way, you're actually stabilizing your lower body a little bit more than if we were standing. And then we get a little bit more mobility through the upper body. Good. 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 And good. All right. Okay, a little bit more on anchoring. Let's work the anchor and some decompression breathing. So to start the decompression breathing, let's go ahead and put your hands on your rib cage. From right here. In through your nose. If you've done any research on nose breathing, you know it's a good thing for all of us as athletes, as human beings. Nose breathing, good thing. Okay, from right here, if you want to explore further on there, there's a book by Dr. James Nestor called Breathe, and it'll tell you and maybe give you some incentive to work a little bit more towards your nose breathing. Okay, hands on your rib cage. Drop your hips to the back just a little bit. Chin is in a good position. Push back and strong. And from right here, in through your nose, out through your mouth, in through your nose. I want to see your ribs move. Two more of those. One more. That's mobility through the thoracic spine, using your breath and expanding your rib cage. We need and want that. Okay, last week we worked a little bit on the prone decompression breathing. Today we're going to work even deeper on that skill of maintaining space between the ribs and the hips. So, hats on backwards. We're going down to the ground. We're going to get into the prone position. So the prone position is down onto your belly. I want your knees together. We're going to set an anchor today. Toes, big toe touching, knees touching, heels apart. Your forehead will be on the ground, but I'm going to look up because I'm going to talk to you, okay? So you're ultimately two hands like you're hanging off of a cliff, your knees, big toes touching, so you've got an anchor set down low. Your forehead is going to be touching the ground. Okay, from that position, I want you to pull your belly button away from the floor. I want you to engage your abdomen, your deep abdominal muscles, and pull your belly button away from the floor. Practice that. Hold that belly away from the floor. If you can, if I could slide my hand under your belly button onto the floor, I would want that space. Okay? Now, big inhale through your nose. As you exhale, pull your belly button away from the floor. Now you're going to learn to decompress and breathe. Okay? We're going to do it together. Fingertips on the ground, knees touching, big toes touching, heels apart. Forehead on the ground. Ready? Inhale through the nose. Exhale. As you exhale, pull the belly button away. Inhale. One more, big inhale. As you exhale, lift your head straight off the ground, but keep looking down. So from right here, keep working your belly button away from the floor. Hands up. Pull your hands directly under your shoulders. Let your knees come underneath of your hips. Push all the way back. Grab your foam roller again. Okay, from that position, that is our prone decompression breathing. And I'll tell you, if you can learn decompression breathing and understand the concept of creating space between your ribs and your hips, you will create something we call tensegrity. And I do believe that when they first started talking to us about core strength, they didn't mean a bunch of planks. They meant to engage and create this ability to hold yourself tall against gravity and create that tensegrity. Decompression breathing is one of the first steps to becoming more and more long and strong and decompressing your spine. Okay, from right here, if you can get into butt onto your heels, go for it. I can't quite get there. We're going to just take the foam roller, push it out in front of you. If you need to have your hips up more, just have your hips up more. We've got a big lat stretch there using the foam roller. So start in that quadruped position, kind of 2 knees up, 2 hands on the foam roller. As you drop your hips back, you're going to roll the foam roller forward. Through your lats, you should feel a slight stretch in your sacrum. Come back up. We're going to go one more time. Drop that all the way forward. Drop your hips back. Good. Now from right there, just bring your head up just a little bit like you're on your bicycle looking down the road. So right here, let's go thumbs up. So the lats are in a nice big stretch. Thumbs are up on the foam roller. Head is in a position where you'd be looking down the road. You're going to lift one side and then the other side. Keep your hips back. 2, 2, 3. Keep your hips back. 3, 4. If you need to come out of it for your knees, just come up. Just a little bit. Just unload those knees just a little bit. Spine is long and strong. And walk back on that. So what that creates is length through your spine, and we start to get that little bit of shoulder blade gliding through your shoulders and upward back. We're going to do that one more time. We start in the quadruped position, knees nice and strong into the ground. Let's take those heels just a little bit lateral so they're at least in line with your knees, so your hip joint will be neutral. From right here, drop out as you push your hips back. You should feel a little bit of tension through your shoulders and upper back. 2. This is getting us a low trapezius activation. 4, 8 each side. 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, and 8. Low trap is right here. The trapezius starts at the base of the spine, base of the head, goes out to the shoulders, drops down between the shoulder blades. It's what helps us get into that position. Nice, healthy, postural position. Okay, let's finish up here with some lateral half kneeling position. So, right leg out. We haven't really foam rolled. We didn't today really deal with the lower leg. So if later today you have time to foam roll or work your gua sha or your stick through your lower leg, go ahead and get that done. First thing we're going to do, the leg that is long. Right now I have it as the right leg. Got a little bit of a hip cramp. All right, we're going to take the hands on hips. And all we're going to do is rotate across the lead leg. Gently bring this back hip and kind of aim it towards the mid-thigh. Your upper body is pretty upright. Okay, let's change sides on that. This is called lateral half kneeling. Side, hands on hips, create space, tensegrity. Right there. Woo, a little tighter on this side. 2. Trying to just bring this back hip, aim it mid-thigh to the lead leg. So this leg is pretty stuck, right? This is like my landing leg when I'm running. Don't force anything here. I'm getting a stretch in the adductor on the left side. My left hip is different than my right hip. Not sure why. One isn't necessarily injured. I have broken my right ankle 3 times, trail running. And so that could have something to do with it. When you have a trauma down low, you will get a response up high. And a lot of times we need to reactivate and re-educate muscles above a point of trauma. Okay, so lateral half kneeling. This time we're going to just use that foundation principle of hands out front, hips to the back. We want to work that hip hinge. Hands to the front, push the hips back. Good. You're going to get a nice inner thigh stretch, and we're working a nice healthy hip hinge. We're going to go 10 reps here. Push those hips back. 6, 7, eyes stay up, don't drop your eyes. Good. And good. To everyone who raced anything this weekend, 5K, 10K, Ironman, whatever you did, gravel race, or some of us just did the race of life. I just want to congratulate you on a good weekend of play. Weekends are for playing if you're kind of a traditional human who has a job and does their thing. But hopefully, no matter what it is, I went on an adventure with a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old after I did my training. The difference between training is an exercise and just play is training has a system associated with it, a system of progressive overload, a system of taking what you got and exceeding expectations a little bit, physical, mental, emotional, cardiovascular, muscular. 9, 1 more. I'm kind of excited to be back into training. And 10. I have some big goals for 2022, and I want to make sure that I'm ready, so I'm trying to get a little head start here in November. All right, let's go ahead and just stand up. We're going to go right into one last exercise that kind of plays off that low trap. It's one of my favorite takeaways from foundation training. I want you to go into kind of a wide stance. I would call this 2 times shoulder width, maybe 1.5 times shoulder width. It's not so wide that you can't be mobile out of it. If I can't comfortably move in and out of a position, I know that I'm kind of exceeding my movement bubble. All right, so right here, I've got about 1.5, almost 2 times shoulder width with my stance, and we're just gonna turn those toes out just a little bit, and we're dropping in to bodyweight squat. So a wider stance, toes turned out to open the hips, and just drop into a bodyweight squat for 10. Hands to the front, which really encourages pushing your hips back. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1 more, and 10. So the biggest key principle of any squat pattern is that you can push your hips way behind your heels so that you maintain that mobility through the hips. Now, since today is our upper body focus, we're going to set up that same position, except for I want you to square your feet up. So last time we turned them out just a little bit. Now they're going to be a little bit straighter. From right here, take a big breath. Work that inhale, exhale. Drop your hips to the back just a little bit. From right here, let's take your 3 fingers and tuck them under. Put your thumb on your bottom rib. Take a big breath. As you exhale, pretend you're pulling your belly button away from the floor. Drop your hips to the back, pull your hands away from your ears. Push your hips back as you drive your hands right to the height of your chin or perhaps your heart. From right there, let's go ahead and forward fold right to the foam roller. If the foam roller seems low for you, stay there. You can always do this to a stool or to a chair. Okay, let's set that up again. 2 times shoulder width, 1.5 times shoulder width. Feet straight. Take a big breath, drop your hips to the back. Inhale, move your rib cage laterally out. Expand your rib cage 360 degrees. Push your hips back even further. Hands come back by your hips. Push your hands from the bottom, Drop your elbows, hands to the height of your heart. Head is in a really strong position. Push your chin back. From right there, we're going to forward fold. You can forward fold to your foam roller. You can forward fold to a chair. From right there, we're in that nice big lat stretch. Push your hips back from there. This should feel pretty intense to you. Big inhale through your nose. Exhale. As you exhale, pull your belly button into your spine. Drive your hips back. From right here, guys, I want you to drop into that squat. Keep your hands on your prop. Dropping into your squat, push your hips back, weight on your heels. Palms up, lifting. 2, 2, 3, push your hips back, get onto your heels. 6, 6, 7. One more. 8 and 8. Hands strong onto your prop. Push your hips back. Straighten your knees. Bring your hands back to your knees. And that's where we're going to end it. Right there. So, here's my take on the world champion or the world record for Ironman. And I am not an expert on any of this. I'm a fan. I'm a coach. I've experienced world championship podiums with athletes. I feel that the only place a world record will ever be set is on the same day with the world's greatest athletes competing head to head on one course. And to me, at this juncture, that course is Kona. I don't want to take anything away from Christian Blumfeld. I don't want to take anything away from Gustav Iden, Jan Frodeno, anybody that has set a world record, Matt Hansen, Tim Don, all have set world records in Ironman. In my opinion, it needs to be on the same day, same weather conditions, on the same course, same distances, head to head, with the ability to compete with your peer group of the world's greatest athletes. So nothing away from Christian. I don't think it was a world record yesterday in Cozumel. I think it was an amazing performance, and I can't wait to watch what's going to happen in the next 12 months of Ironman, because this is an exciting time. I hope you guys have a great week. Thanks for coming for Mobility Monday. I will see you again next week. If you would like to join Doc Helma and I, we are doing a special USA here in the Thanksgiving week. We are going to do a special class Thursday morning on YouTube. It'll be foundation training, a lot of great mobility, a lot of great activation, and all towards building a better you. Peace. Take care, everybody.